What's up? What's up? Welcome, you guys. Sorry, that Rocky. That's an original. Is so prominent in the photo. What's up, everybody? Happy Saturday night. We're back. What's up? What's up? Welcome, you guys. Welcome. Let's see if anyone's home tonight. Welcome, you guys. Welcome, welcome, y'all. We're telling your followers that you started a live video. Hey, what's up, Pam? Good to see you. Let me give you a special truancy. What's up, my brother? How you doing? How's everybody doing? Good to see people on YouTube. Welcome. I'm back. Hey, good to see you. How are you? Adria. Probably short for something, but I'm missing it. Flower Zone, what's up? What's up, guys? Welcome, you guys. What's up, Davey? Welcome, you guys. We're back. I'm back. Not exactly broadcasting from my normal location, but we got to work with what we got. Instagram banned me for 342 more days anyway. Saturday Night Live is in the house. What's up, you guys? Good to see everyone. Good. I hope everyone's having a good weekend. Good to be here. Saturday Night Live with us. Thank you, Pam. Welcome everybody on YouTube. I'm still learning the ways of YouTube. I don't know. I can't. Let me see. Make live chat visible. There we go. There we go. Thank you, guys. Good to see you. So I thought, given the spirit of Thanksgiving, that I would share what I know about the incredible power of gratitude. It's just Adria, so I got it right. All right. Thank you, Adria. About the incredible power that gratitude has to quite literally rewire your biology. And people hear, you hear people and you see, reels and shorts and people talking about gratitude this, gratitude that. But there's a lot more to it than simply, like don't dismiss what you hear. If you've never put into practice a gratitude practice, I'm telling you, it can change your life because it's a way to immediately shift from a vibrational state that is probably not so congruent or in harmony with what you are hoping to bring into your life and shift into something that is much more aligned because the signal you're going to put out is what? It's one of, oh my God, I have everything I could want, right? It's a higher frequency. That's right, Pam. And so, hey, Rain Mama, good to see you. Let me fix this light real quick. Move it a little closer. So, the amazing thing about gratitude is a miraculous superpower, you guys. And if you're listening to this, it's not by accident. I'm sure it's because you, as well as I, need a reminder in how vital it is. It can change your whole life. I mean, I've talked to so many people who have been given just death sentence diagnoses, right? And instead of accepting that and letting that affect their biology, they refuted it. They refused to accept it. And they took on a practice of getting healthy, meditating, learning to see themselves as the person that they always knew they could be, and being grateful for that. And every one of these people who I talk to, and I've talked to a lot of them, I've been to it's kind of a crazy amount, like 7-8 weeks of meditation retreat with Dr. Joe Dispenza, and his community is just supernatural. It's just hard to put into words that you guys would believe without really being there and seeing. Or listen, if you want to see, you can go onto his website. There's hundreds of testimonials that you have to see with your own eyes and hear with your own ears of people who took on this practice and cured themselves of every type of diagnosis. I don't want to say words on this live stream that will get me, we live in a society that does not welcome cures. So I'm not going to use words that will flag this thing, but I've seen it all, guys. And you know what happens? The most incredible thing. These human beings, hey, unknown, good to see you again. These human beings get so fucking happy They get so filled with self-love, so grateful for what they have, that they don't even care about the diagnosis anymore. And before you know it, they're walking around and their tests show that they don't have it, it's gone. And what did they do? They rewrote their biology. Bruce Lipton speaks about this all the time. Dr. Joe Dispenza speaks about this all the time. Greg Braden, Anita Moorjani is a perfect living example of this. If you guys haven't seen my podcast with Anita, it will blow your mind. Hey, Robert, welcome. Anita Moorjani was literally, Flower said, I had a near-death experience and that changed my gratefulness. It's a game changer, right? If you have a run-in, an NDE, or any kind of thing that really shakes you to your core, that'll make you remember what you should be grateful for. What's up, morning? Welcome, you guys. Welcome. Like Anita Moorjani's story is a perfect example of this. Anita Moorjani was literally dead. Every organ had failed in her body. If you guys haven't seen my podcast with Anita, you got to go back maybe a couple months and check it out. Weird how the technology tries to steer us away from positive manifestations. That's because the algorithms are trained, Adria. They're trained to. Sometimes you can tweak your algorithms. Remind me of what I was talking about. I was talking about Anita, so we'll go back to it. But Adria, what I do sometimes if my algorithms are too dark, if sometimes my algorithms just want to show me all the Palestinian, the horror of what they're facing. And while I want to be kept appraised of that, I don't want it to consume me. So like if you guys flick through my Instagram on my personal account, it would be like Dr. Joe, Bruce Lipton, Palestinian children. Dr. Joe, Bruce Lipton, Anita Moorjani, and so I'll go through and I'll start to deliberately heart and circle, and you can do this on YouTube too by watching videos that are more aligned with what you want to see. And that changes the algorithm. But the algorithms, they love showing you what they think, Morning, I just saw that. Thank you so much for following. I appreciate that. But you guys, Anita Moorjani was like literally dead. She had over 99 tumors. She weighed about 80 pounds. And they've told the family to say their goodbyes. And she had a near-death experience. She went out of body. It's a very incredible story. You have to listen to my podcast. But when she came back into her body, she just healed. Literally, her whole body healed. And in 8 weeks, she went from complete, dead, say goodbye, to she won't make the night, to walking out of the hospital. They didn't do anything to her. They were just like, they were trying to keep her in her bed. Like they couldn't believe that she went from what, and this was all documented. So it's not just her saying it. They have the records of this in the hospital. That still flabbergasts them. But her podcast is something worth watching. My podcast with Bruce Lipton is also worth watching. It's one of my proudest, I think one of my best podcasts. But because my channel is quasi-conspiratorial, quasi-spiritual, Bruce doesn't get the kind of traction that he should, and that's probably my fault for not choosing and maintaining a stronger, what do you call it, niche, whatever. But, I'm going to talk about what I love talking about, which is the truth. The truth as I understand it, as I've learned to uncover it and see it and share it, the truth that they don't like people to understand about this incredible reality and how capable we are of creating it. And that's the thing that, that they don't teach us. And it's the most important thing that we can learn, that we create our own reality with our thoughts and our feelings. And it begins from the time we're young. Obviously, you can't tell a 7-year-old that everything that he's thinking and feeling he's going to also create into his life. So, there's a lot to this. It's nuanced. But as you become, listen, if you don't think that kids manifest what they want, just look at how much they get what they want. If they want something bad enough, they almost always get it, right? Like, it's remarkable. I always observe my children and I'm like, wow, he manifested that in a hurry. How did you do that? The kids are amazing like that. It's really cool. But gratitude, right? So gratitude allows you to recontextualize what's happening in your life. if you're in, so we often get caught in loops, right? We get caught obsessing, and it's hard to step back from that. It's hard to meditate when you're in like this frenzy, like when you just can't stop the mind from looping, right? And believe me, I know I struggle with it myself, but I always, if you stay in the meditation long enough and you have the right techniques, you will be able to drop in and quiet the monkey mind. But what gratitude does, and what I love about it is, it rewrites your while it rewrites your biology with like the same power that laughter has, you're also putting a signal out into the universe that is absolutely laser clear. I mean, it is like a barcode for abundance. You are saying to the universe, hit me, baby, hit me. It's like I don't know. It's like playing blackjack. You get dealt a 16. Should you hit or should you stay? And you know that there's a 5, and so you're going to hit it. And you're going to get 21 every time. But the signal you're putting out, maybe the blackjack wasn't the best reference. Maybe roulette is a better. Hey, Peg. Maybe roulette is a better. Hey, Tank. I'm talking about the power of gratitude to rewrite your biology, to rewrite your reality. And it's a practice, right? It's a practice that we can all adopt. Hey, Michelle. It's good to see some new faces, you guys. I usually don't go live from my Far Out with Faust channel, not the YouTube channel, but the Instagram channel. But my personal account has been banned from going live for no reason. Well, obviously, many of my personal posts are about Israel, and that's, Israel is paying a lot of money to these social media companies to censor people who are putting out the truth about what's happening to the Palestinians. And so my personal Instagram account, the one Faust Chicho, which you should follow if you don't, I can't go live from it, or my audience would be a lot bigger. But everyone who's here, I appreciate, and I don't care if I'm talking to 2 people or 200 people. I love sharing with you guys what I can and being of service when I can. So, gratitude. What does it do? Why is it so important? When you realize that you're always emitting a signal through your heart and through your mind with your thoughts and your feelings, right? When you realize that and you understand the power of that, you're going to become very conscious of what you're thinking and feeling, and you're going to try to maintain a very, I don't want to say hypervigilance because it's too PTSD-like, but you said Israel and I got kicked off. That's funny. Can't talk about, yeah, I know, man. I know. They're cracking down, and it's fucking crazy, man. It's crazy. Like me and like 7 other people, we didn't get a warning. We just got, you have been banned from going live for 365 days. No 30, no 15, no 90 days, just a whole year. Hey, Purple Brad. It's just ridiculous. Hey, Laura, welcome. We're talking about the power of gratitude. I'm just reminding you guys that you are all imbued with the divine spark of the Creator. And that gives you the power to create and manifest your own reality. And we're not taught that in school. Love the guided meditation you did 6 weeks ago. Flowers, I need to do another one soon. I don't know if tonight is the night, but next week I think I will do one. Yeah, I'll prepare for it and everything. But thank you for reminding me. Why is gratitude so important? So the signal you're putting out, the universe, God, whatever you want to call this incredible reality that we're blessed to have a physical body and live in, right? Hey, Purple Brad said, "Hey man, it's good to see you. It's been a while since Russell Brand." Oh, Purple Brad, what's up, brother? It's been quite a while. I was like, Purple Brad. Why does that name sound so familiar? That's right, man. It's been a few years, bro. I hope you're well. Good to see you, man. I hope everything is going good. I met Purple Brad at Russell Brand's festival a couple years ago before Russell Brand turned into like a Republican talking head. Man, I miss old Russell. Anyway, gratitude. Help me stay on target here. So this life, this, whatever you want to call it, the matrix that we live in, right? It's constantly so many dumbed down people in Australia, hard to keep positive. Peg, let me tell you something. There's dumbed down people everywhere. Don't get sidetracked. Thank you, Tank. Okay, gratitude. So the power of this lies in the fact that this reality is like literally, it's your echo chamber. It's your, God, the universe creator, is constantly sending back to you what you're putting out, the signal you're putting out. It's like ask and you shall receive. But you can't ask with your words as much as you need to ask with your feelings and with your intentions and with your actions. And when you can suit those three together, look out. You can make miracles happen. When you can suit your word to your actions with your heart, you are a magnet, a powerful magnet for whatever it is you would like to come into your life. You know, people are looking to create abundance in their lives and they think that, you know, money is going to solve all that. People look for resources and money because of what? Because of the way it'll make them feel when they have it. But if you're just focused on, you know, money and you don't stop and feel into how you're going to feel when you have that kind of abundance, the freedom, the joy it's going to bring you, then it's going to be a much slower process of you bringing that into your life. You know, and when you realize that you are a divine, creative, abundant being, you're not going to worry so much about money because it's going to start showing up for you. And there is wealth in health. There is wealth in so many things. You know, anyone who's been sick, anyone who's had a chronic illness or gotten over something, they will tell you that wealth is health. And if you don't have your health, it is very difficult for you to get into a state to be able to manifest some of the other things, right? That's the first thing you've got to get off your list. Because being having so let me tell you what else I understand. This tattoo I have here, no, not that one, this one. This is a water crystal. It's Dr. Emoto's water crystal, right? And I got this because this is, if you speak into water and you say, thank you, I love you, and you flash freeze that water, this is what it looks like. It looks like a perfect geometrical masterpiece, right? Dr. Emoto realized that memory has water. I'm sorry, water has memory, right? And when he said words like "I love you" and "thank you" and then flash froze the water, it took on this beautiful geometry, like a perfect water crystal, like a snowflake from heaven, right? And when he said words like, "Hey, Toby, there you are. Good to see you, brother. I was hoping you would notice I was online." And when he said words like "I hate you," or like mean words, what he noticed was when he flash froze the water, it looked like a pile of like spit, for lack of a better word, right? Toby, I hope you're feeling good, brother. Moichichi, you found. Good to see you. Singapore is in the house. What's up, Johnny? Welcome, you guys. Welcome. So I'm talking about Dr. Emoto's work. I'm talking about this tattoo I have on my body, this water crystal, which is an amalgam of "I love you" and "thank you." Those two water crystals together. I had my tattoo artist create this symmetrical version of those two things. And what happened when Dr. Emoto froze the water when he said "I hate you," or he said something mean, was the water, it looked like a pile of spit. Like there was no coherence. There was no geometry. There was nothing to it. But when he said "I love you," all of a sudden, this beautiful coherence came into the molecular structure of the water. Guess what we're made out of? We're made out of water. Do you think the fluoride in birth control affects this? So fluoride, good question, Brad. I was just talking about this, you guys. Some people are still using toothpaste with fluoride in it, even after, RFK has confirmed what we conspiracy theorists have been telling y'all for years now. I'll never forget, I had this dude who, I was friends with him. I'll tell you one of the reasons why we stopped being friends. He said, just made an offhand comment, and he was like, was something about, I posted something about fluoride, and he was like, man, he was like, I give fluoride supplements to my children. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, bro, I thought we were friends. I thought we were cool. I said, you got to be careful. You don't want to tell people how to raise their kids, obviously. But I said, bro, fluoride is been known. It will keep the IQ of the child lower. Like, you should really look into it. Like, it's a toxin. It's right next to arsenic. Like if you look on the chart, it's like lead is here, then there's arson, and then there's fluoride right here. Like, but of course they pretend like that's not the case, which is absurd. I live on tank water here, but what are they spraying in the sky? Peg, that's a good question. I'm gonna come back around to that one. What are they spraying in the sky? That's another problem. So don't use toothpaste with fluoride in it. And I'll tell you why. If you look at so your pineal gland is very important, okay? Your pineal gland is your transponder. It's one of the ways you receive signals and connect to, and this is going to get metaphysical for y'all, but you can take it, to your higher selves, to your guides. We're not here alone. We all have guardian angels. We have angels. We have guides. All of us, without exception. The only reason why maybe you don't realize it because either you've forgotten or you've lost awareness of them. But if you bring them back into your awareness, I promise you'll sense them. You'll know when you can quiet your mind and quiet your eyes, and you can ask them questions and then listen for the answer. And the answer is probably going to come in your own voice, in your own imagination, because, well, how else would it come? People are waiting for the voice of God. And then when they hear the response and it's in their own voice or comes from their own mind, they're like, oh, that couldn't be it. How else can they communicate but through you, through your mind, right? So if you ask a question to your angels, to your guides, or to God the Creator, or to Jesus, or to Buddha, quiet your mind and listen for the answer. The answer is going to pop into your head. It's not going to come from any mental gymnastics that you do. And trust the answer that you got. Don't dismiss it. Trust it. This is, psychics know this. When you come into some kind of psychic ability, it doesn't come from the mind. It comes from someplace lower, from here. If it gets to the mind has a chance to do all the things the mind does with it. And that's how it gets dismissed, right? Anyway. The problem with what they're putting in the skies, so fluoride, bad. Get rid of it because it blocks the pineal gland. And the pineal gland is important in your spiritual evolution. It's important in the way that you receive signals from your guides and also how you communicate in your multidimensional self, which you all are, whether you believe it or not. You're a multidimensional being, right? So I had a question on YouTube about what they're spraying in the sky. So I saw the inner voice is the voice of God. That's right, Moichichi. That's exactly right. And people feel inadequate. They're raised with thoughts like that somehow that is blasphemy. But God didn't create us for you to feel unworthy. That is the voice of God. The reason why your heart beats without a single thought from you is because you have a little piece of God in you, a little piece of the Creator. And everything that you're experiencing, God is experiencing with you. And that's a beautiful thing to remember, right? And so listen to that voice. Don't ignore that voice. That is the voice of God. Your imagination is connected directly to your soul, and that soul is connected directly to the divine, period. I think they sprayed the skies to keep the aliens out somehow. Toby, that's an interesting theory. I think they're spraying the skies to keep us from realizing that we are the aliens. Well, I say that in jest, mostly. But they're spraying the skies because, listen, this is crazy. The aluminum that they're putting into the sky right now, if you go to any place that can do a metals test on you, I don't care where you are. If you live in the United States, I'm sure Australia, I'm sure most places are bad because these people, they're part of the global cult of death. You know, the people who are paying for this are also the ones who own the medical system and profit from it. You know, it's not a coincidence. Well, let me finish what I'm saying about aluminum. So, excuse me, the aluminum, the best way to excrete it, and it's in the air, it's aerosol. That's what they're spraying. It's a big part of what they're saying. It does not belong in the human body. It is responsible for all kinds of neurodegenerative and different diagnoses that we see popping up in both the young and the old. And aluminum is a big part of it. That's one thing that is found that has crossed the blood-brain barrier in people diagnosed with every kind of thing that start with the letter A and D and other things of that. It's a heavy metal that doesn't belong. A great way to excrete that metal is in a sauna. And through sweating and through exercise. Sauna is, we live in especially if you live in America, I'm sure many of the other places aren't better, but you know, sauna is very important because sauna will make you sweat. You know, how can they spray pilots even do this? I think half the time flowers, they're not even told what they're spraying, you know, and they get paid a lot of money not to ask questions, you know, but people are blowing the whistle now. Listen, I want to tell you guys something. I don't know if you guys know this, but not that it's totally off topic. Florida has banned geoengineering, also known as chemtrails, anyway. Since they have banned geoengineering, do you guys know what? It's December 6th. Hurricane season has come and gone. And guess how many hit land in Florida? 0. Well, that's the first time in many, many years that not a single hurricane has made landfall in Florida. And if you think that's a fucking coincidence with the fact that they have banned geoengineering, then you haven't been paying attention. My friends, let me get conspiratorial for a moment. I'm going to get to your question. I am your Dino. I like your name. Brain fog, I'm sure, is one of the many, you know, they are heartless. They're not heartless, they're just, I don't know what's happened to their humanity, you know, like, they have to breathe the same air as us. I don't know what the fuck they're thinking, but I want them to stop. I want them to crawl into their fucking 13,000 acre bunkers and live out the rest of their existence. What was I saying before? I was about to, what was I going to say? We were talking about, oh yeah. Just let me get a little, not conspiratorial because it's not. It's actually true. So I tell people this all the time. Understand, we started making it rain in Vietnam, okay? New York Times published a headline. We've had the ability to cloud seed and make it rain for 75 fucking years, okay? Excuse my French. And if we were making it rain so much in months in Vietnam so that we could flood their foxholes, we have the ability to create a tremendous amount of rain. That was 75 years ago. What do you think has happened to the technology since then? Do you think they just tossed it away? No, they stopped letting the public know they have it. There was another experiment that the press found out about back when we had a quasi-literal actual journalism in this country. We don't anymore. We don't have anything like it. But I think it was either the late 50s, maybe the 60s, but they were the press found out that the Army was testing a hurricane deterrent using planes. And so of course they were tracking the hurricane that came in, and they did their experiment, and they accidentally steered this hurricane right towards Georgia, the state of Georgia, where I happen to live now. And the state of Georgia was like, what the fuck? Like, there was all kinds of damage. And they sued the government. And the government was like, oh, you know, of course the government paid because they found out they were redirecting the thing, and they happened to redirect it towards Georgia, and there was a lot of damage caused. But what is that? I may not be getting the date right, but you can look it up. The state of Georgia sued the government, and I'm pretty sure it was settled, for redirecting a hurricane, and this was probably the late 60s, early 70s at the latest. Also, almost 50 years ago. So if we've been redirecting hurricanes and had the capacity, what does that tell you about Katrina? What does that tell you about every hurricane that has come into this country and devastated one city after the next? What does that tell you about the United States government? They would rather you suffer than let you know that they have this technology. Why? Because they're using it for nefarious reasons. It's another way to divide and distract. If you look and you learn a little bit about meteorology and storm tracing, you can see just how fucking manipulated these hurricanes have been for decades. Like the one in Tampa, like there was one coming directly at New York City the morning of 9/11. You can watch the news. You can still find some of the news reports about it. And then poof, it was gone. Why? Because they already had plans for 9/11 in the morning. They couldn't have a hurricane fucking blowing in and screwing up what they were trying to do. Dr. Judy Wood showcases this in her presentation, which you can find on Rumble. And ironically, they don't try to, weather wars are next. Yeah. Well, Peg, listen, they need to keep people in a survival mode, right? And what better way to do that than fucking, cause a drought and then a fire? I just told you they have the ability to make it rain. So what does that tell you about every fucking wildfire that has devastated this country over the last 30 years? It is not an accident that they allow these things to happen. Particularly in the last 10 years, it's become belligerently obvious that these fires are being set on purpose, in many ways, through many actions, and technologies. And directed energy weapons were conspiracy theory, until the video that like Lockheed Martin made to advertise it to governments went public and leaked. And we see them starting fires from space and from ships, and they do this. And then there's a wildfire. Wildfires don't melt cars into slags. I was just talking about this. It's remarkable what people will believe. You guys should watch my special on 9/11, part 2. If you want to see the truth about that day and how they disintegrated those towers. Why? Now, I did a special on the Oklahoma City bombing as well. And they learned a lot from the Oklahoma City bombing. That was also a controlled demolition. But what was left of the Oklahoma City bombing made it so obvious to anyone with expertise in demolitions that it was a controlled demolition. They wouldn't let a single expert on site. They demolished the building as quick as they could, and they knew they could not take that risk with the World Trade Center. And there's a reason why when the World Trade Center fell to the ground, it did not register on a seismic Richtergraph, or whatever you call that thing that measures earthquakes. There was 5 active sensors, and they were operational. They had measured an earthquake earlier that year in 2001. So we know they were working. And we know through hundreds and hundreds and thousands of records of seismographs, of controlled demolitions, we know exactly the kind of shake and impact they have. We know how to measure them, and we know, like, for example, what like the Louisiana dome that they... Peace and blessings, Yvette. Thank you. Thank you so much. We know how much they would register. And guess what, guys? Neither World Trade Center registered anything. They registered like 20 stories. What happened to the other 110 stories? They were dustified. They were literally disintegrated in midair. So it couldn't have just been a controlled demolition. They had to have used what? Directed energy weapons. How else do you fucking disintegrate steel in midair? Obviously, there was a Star Wars-like technology employed that day. Why? Because the steel never hit the ground, my friends. Then they put out a misdirection propaganda piece about how, oh, the steel was carted off and sold to China. What? A million pounds of steel was ferried off in just 2 days? The day after 9/11, you can watch the news reports of them saying, oh, well, it's just surprising how the lack of rubble, John. Back to you. Yeah, where the fuck did it go? It didn't go anywhere. It was disintegrated, my friends. Disintegrated. How did I get from gratitude to the dustification of the World Trade Center? Oh, so let me tell you why I say that before I shift gears again. Bear with me. I'm good at ranting. So I saw pictures of cars that were inexplicable, that could not have, they were not near the blast. There was buses melted. They were a block from the World Trade Center. And I thought I was looking at vehicles of pictures that were taken in Maui or in the fires in California, the quote wildfires. And when I saw this bus, I was like, that's a New York City bus. What the fuck? Because I Googled toasted cars and I was looking at images. And I was like, what the fuck? What was happening to these cars a block from the World Trade Center? How did they get melted into slag? They look exactly like the cars from Maui, right? And so I was like, whoa, there is validity to this directed energy weapons theory. Those cars they were not in the blast radius. They were not subject to any explosion. What could have melted them? This is just physics and common sense and critical thinking. It's not conspiracy theory. There's no way you can use just a controlled demolition and bring down 210-story steel linebacker buildings. I mean, these buildings were built so well, and not have a giant pile of steel. Where did the steel go? It wasn't carted off to China, sold to China for cheap. That's bullshit. That's the kind of propaganda they put out to keep you from asking questions. Be like, those sons of bitches, they got rid of the evidence. No, they got rid of the evidence before it hit the ground. They had to, because the Oklahoma City bombing building taught them that. Let me see here. I missed something on my YouTube chat here. How do we get from here to gratitude, homie? Sorry, man. And you are also valid that it doesn't break down gratitude. That's a good point. I tend to do this. You guys know that. Many of you who have been with me a long time know I somehow go from metaphysics, your divine ability to create your own reality, to how fast the World Trade Center fell, 9.6 seconds, pre-fall speed, impossible, with a pancake collapse. Let's return to the more important subject of gratitude. And I was talking about this water crystal, right? So your biology responds to what you're listening to. It responds to your outer and your inner environment, okay? So becoming conscious of the kind of environment you're experiencing. Hold on, I'm missing all kinds of, but FAUST, most conspiracies are true. They are, my brother, they are. How are you feeling, Toby? How are you recovering, bro? How's it going? The Air Force sprays him too. Bush Jr. had an airman whistleblower arrested under the Patriot Act, so he couldn't talk. Damn, I didn't know that. Hurricane Ian killed my bank account for $40,000 for the roof. Damn, I'm sorry to hear that, Flowers. That's fucked up. Wow, Sarasota would love to. The state of cars nearby is clear evidence. Sorry, I'm catching up on comments on my IG channel. Live chat. There we go. Okay. So, water crystals. The body is made up of water. Your body's always listening. Make sure that you're not exposing yourself to things that are bad for your biology. I'm not saying that you should skip the last season of Stranger Things that just came out, although I heard it's pretty terrible. You should probably skip it. What I'm saying is be mindful of what you're filling your mind with and what you're exposing yourself to in your environment. And remember that we create our environment internally and we experience it externally. So there's more than one thing for you to remain aware of, right? A lot of people surround themselves with people who are not the best vibrational match for them anymore. You know, we've grown out of them, but we're scared to leave them, you know. I mean, and sometimes, you know, childhood friends, that's a little different. You know, sometimes you could fall in with them and that lightheartedness from you from when you were kids just comes out. And the way they are and the way you are, it just remains congruent because you've known them so long. And when you were kids, all you did was laugh, so it's easy to laugh as adults. But other people who we have in our lives, we got to take an honest assessment of them and decide, you know, if they're bringing you down, if they're engaging with you and all they want to do is unload their problems and you end up feeling like shit afterwards, maybe it's time to stop talking to that person until they can get their shit together, right? I mean, it's your it's your energy. It's your decision. Who you want to surround yourself with and what you want to do. Are you doing things that make you feel bad about yourself? Are you hanging out with people who make you feel not so good? Because if you are, I don't know what you're waiting for, right? You know, it's time to become very conscious of these things. We're living in a time when you know, it's not enough to know. You have to put it into action. Intelligence is great. Knowledge is power. You guys know I'm always talking about that. But it's all for nothing if you can't put it into practice, right? And so sometimes it's 2 steps forward, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back with a lot of people, right? But as long as you keep moving forward, that's the most important thing. And if you have people in your life who love you and support you and who challenge you and who hold you accountable, my God, thank those people. Keep them close. We all need people like that in our life. Hold on, I missed the YouTube comment. It says, Peg's Place says, time seems to be going quickly nowadays too. It does, Peg. It does. You know, I think the more present you are, it's funny, it can work both ways. The more time passes quickly, you know. The more in a state that we get in. Let me see, Toby said, I'm good. I have some heart issues that the Cleveland Clinic is fixing for me. Thanks for asking. Toby, once again, brother, sending you love and healing energy and for your recovery. I'm sure the Cleveland Clinic is fixing that up for you. I hope that your family's been there for you. I'm sure your brother has. I hope he has. Definitely sending you love, bro. Let's see. Grateful for the knowledge you enlighten us with. And we'll always get back to that. But thanks, Purple Brad. Let me see. Flower says, Faust, have you seen the book about water copying people's impressions? I heard something about that. And I have to look into it. But I did see something about that. I also heard from Dr. Zach Bush that... this is crazy, but this is cool. This is like, tell me if you guys have ever noticed this. Something about, oh my God, what's the word? It's so big and scientific. Dr. Zach Bush is an incredible mind. One day I will have him on my podcast. One day I will convince him. I have such admiration for him. He's an incredibly enlightened man. Dr. Zach Bush, you can follow him on Instagram. I'm sure he has a YouTube channel as well. But he said, they were doing studies and they found out that so when you have a dog, when you have a pet, like because of the way our, what do they call them, our exomes, or like the way that we're made up of like plasma and the way that our DNA affects the DNA of our pets and even our spouses, we start to take on in a very subtle way characteristics of them. And sometimes if you look at people, you can see they resemble their dog. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. And like a husband and wife who've been together for a long time sometimes. Dr. Zach Bush, I admire as well. And, oh yeah, that's right. I just put that, I love putting that out there, that story he tells about blocking patents. But have you guys looked at someone and been like, and then looked at their dog and be like, wow, that's weird. They look alike. Or even like a husband and wife. Like, oh, that's crazy. They look like brother and sister. Well, they didn't always, right? But we take on attributes of the beings we're closest with. That's just crazy cool, and I think it's subtle, you know, and like because there's this fourth stage of water that is plasma, and we're made up of it, you know. It's just very cool. Water has memory. Whisper healing instructions into it before drinking. Very good advice, Moichichi. You can speak to your water. I just told you that you change the molecular biology of your water. Now listen, I started to tell all you this for a reason, all right? So bear with me. This part is important, okay? If love and these kind of emotions create this kind of beautiful coherence in the body, then that is a healing effect. If saying I hate you causes a dissonance in the cell and it causes chaos, well, what is disease? Disease is quite literally a dissonance in the cell. And when I do a coherence healing, what I do is I've learned, I have a technique and I have a playlist, and I open my heart, and then I allow that energy to come through me and out my heart and out my hands, and then I direct that energy, and that it's like it's called a coherence healing, and anyone can learn to do it, and it's powerful. You know, it's very powerful. But what you're doing is you're emitting an energy that is so coherent that it has a physical effect on matter, and you're bringing coherence into the cell structure of a body that may not have it. You're bringing that healthy blueprint back into you're bringing it from the projection into the screen, into the movie. And you can do that with your heart and your mind. I do it often. Every time my son, my wife, every time they get nauseous, I do my thing, and in 20 minutes, it's pretty miraculous. You know, my son went from turning green. I did a coherence healing on him, and then he was like, "Can we play basketball now?" I was like, "So I guess you feel better? Okay, like give me a moment to get my bearings here." But you know, I learned to do that through Dr. Joe's work. Anyone can do it. You have that power. You have that innate creative power, and you can use it any way you put your mind to it. And one of the ways I use it when people aren't feeling good, and I'm in different groups that do this collectively, and I can tell you about those groups. And if you look into the work of Dr. Joe Dispenza, you could learn much more about how we do this. But you can heal people. You don't have to be next to them. You can do it remotely. It's powerful. Consciousness is non-linear. I'm sorry, non-local. It's non-linear too, but you know what I'm saying. You don't have to be sitting next to someone. You just have to know who they are or where they are, you know, so that you can target them with your heart energy. And then look out, because it's as healing for the healer as it is for the healee. And anyone who's been a part of these kind of healings will tell you that. It's very powerful. It's very beautiful. You can change the course of someone's life when you know how to do this. You can literally take them from, you know, being bedridden or having, I mean, the data that's coming out of the studies they're doing on these groups that do these coherence healings is just mind-blowing. I don't know how they're going to get it peer-reviewed, but, you know, like, I just read a study they're going to try to get it peer-reviewed. After 4 sessions of a coherence healing, these 10 veterans, all 10 reported a complete recession of severe PTSD symptoms. Now, there's not a pharmaceutical drug on the planet. There's not a therapy. There's nothing that does that. These reports were astronomical. They were unreal. But that is the power that we have. When you focus your heart and your mind, you can move that energy wherever you want. And if you have a loved one who is ill, then all you need to do is be able to open your heart and send that energy to them. And you'll see it. You will have an effect. You talk about mind over matter, heart over matter too. You can affect them in incredible ways. I mean it. I've experienced it, and I do it often. And I'm not special. I don't have any, I just know how to do it. I've learned how to do it, and I practice it. You know, and you can too. Let me see here. You could skip Stranger Things because their stance on being stern supporters is Israel. That's true. Yeah, don't watch that shit. Be like water, like Bruce Lee. That's right, my friends. That's right. That's right. Is there a skeptic video of Dr. Joe's to learn this? Is there a specific video? He has so much info out there. So there's a book you can read called The Power of Eight by Lynn McTaggart. Dr. Joe has always taught people how to use heart energy to heal by sensing the space outside of the palm and allowing that energy through. I don't know if Dr. Joe has any specific video that is available on YouTube. He has people talking about their experience being in a coherence healing, but I don't know if he has any videos out specifically. But the book, which is called The Power of Eight, talks about all these different experiments they did, and they found out that if you put 8 people and create a cage around somebody laying down, that is the most effective way, you know. But you don't need to be next to them. This is what we learned. Because consciousness is non-local. You just need to know who they are so you can focus on them and send them energy. I do it all the time. But Dr. Joe's testimonials, if you guys want your minds blown, go and listen to his, quote, transformational videos. We can't say certain words on YouTube because we live in a fascist, corporate, totalitarian, psychopath-run madhouse of a planet. So you have to say transformational. you can't use words like cure, you know, which is just sad, man. It's just sad. But yeah. So if you check them out, Morning Dove. Check out those testimonials. They will blow your mind, my friends. I think I'm caught up with the comments. You know, you guys think I should start? Listen, I see everyone doing this on YouTube. Not that I have so many. You know, my live streams are so big and popular. Nor am I that controversial, but like I'm thinking about doing the whole super tip things. Like if somebody wants me to rant on YouTube or even here, you know, I don't know if they'll let you guys even give me a quote badge here, but I'm gonna put it out there anyway. You know, if you want me to talk about a specific subject, if you want me to rant about it, then send me a super tip or a top fans thing or a badge, and I will do that, and all that money will go to supporting this kind of work that I love to do and this kind of research and all of that jazz. But remember, gratitude, the power of gratitude. 15 minutes a day. Yes, do rants. Pam said, all I do is rants, isn't it? I'm very good at it. Don't forget, the most important part of everything I've been talking about tonight isn't 9/11. It's not. It's literally the power that you have when you can spend 15 minutes a day, and you can use this anytime, guys. If you drop into what you're grateful for, and listen, that's not always easy when there's a lot of stuff going on and you're upset about a lot of things. But if you can drop into, think of something, right? I always tell people, our memory is sensorial, right? So sometimes you have to think very specifically to be reminded and remember something in order to open your heart. Because it's not enough to just remember. You have to feel gratitude. That's where the power lies. That will allow you to become a magnet for what you're manifesting, right? And it'll allow you to change your state of being, whatever you're experiencing. So like, I'll tell you what I do. I can remember specifically, you know, the first time my newborn son reached out and held my finger. He didn't know he was doing it, but I'll never forget what his little hand felt like as it touched me. And the way our memories are activated oftentimes are through our 5 senses, right? And like, you can hear people talk about this. You should go on Rumble. People can send you money on that platform, and you can say more than that's true. Morning, I should do that. I got to start taking advantage of Rumble. I just figure out how to like streamline my live streams, because right now it's crazy. I have an iPad here and a phone here, and I need like 2 others. I need like a bat cave. I should get more devices maybe, or just figure out a program. I don't know. People on Twitter, they use one. I don't know. Then I would have to sit at my desk, and I don't want to like sit on my computer either. Anyway, what the hell was I saying? Oh yeah. So gratitude, right? 15 minutes a day. Drop into what you're grateful for. You will become a magnet. So the longer you spend in gratitude, which by the way is the ultimate state of receivership. You'll hear Dr. Joe say that. And that's where I heard that from. Gratitude is the ultimate state of receivership. Why? Because when you're sitting around thinking and basking in the fact and the notion that you have everything you could ever want and more, that you are, in fact, you have always been so blessed, that you have so much to be grateful for. You have so many people in your life who love you. When you drop into those feelings, then that becomes the predominant signal that you put out into the world. And guess what? God, the creator, the universe, whatever you want to call it, it's going to reflect more of that to you. It is a mirror for how you're feeling. And all these synchronicities are going to happen. This magic opportunities are going to come. Just look out. Create a gratitude practice. Create a daily practice that opens your heart and reminds you how much you have to be grateful for. If you can do that, you will change your life. 15 minutes a day. You'll rewrite your biology. You'll rewrite what and who is showing up in your life. It'll be profound, I promise you. And all it takes is a little bit of discipline and willpower to put it into your routine. And if you do, my God, it'll change everything. It'll change everything. That's what I got for you guys today. If you guys have any questions for me, hit me with them now. Listen, I just did an incredible podcast with a speaking of healers. This man is just remarkable. His name is Christopher LaPrath. My podcast with him finally came out. It came out yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. It's a good one. We talk about a lot of important things. We talk about a lot of things that are necessary for you to become aware of in order to heal, in order to overcome the subconscious ways that we sabotage ourselves and we do things that are not good, right? Because we all have these programs. That's what it means to be human and be raised on this planet, is to be programmed, right? And most of us didn't have the best programmers. So we got to reprogram. This podcast does that really well, right? I'm going to work on that, Faust. Thank you for your time, your teaching. Thank you, Flowers, so much. I appreciate the kind words. I love you guys. I missed you guys. I plan on watching your latest podcast. Toby, you got to check it out, man. Chris is really something. And you guys, my God, I just shot a podcast with this guy this guy came in from Mexico City, right? He worked on the Nazca mummies. Have you ever heard of them? You're gonna when this podcast comes out. This is gonna be huge. He's never spoken to anyone. This guy was a forensic doctor, he was like the lead guy in the Mexican military, right? And he was brought in to examine these bodies they found, these three-fingered bodies. Call them the Nazca mummies, or the tridactyl beings, they're called. You got it. This podcast is gonna blow your mind. This man, his story and the test results he got from these bodies. He's never spoken about them in English to any podcaster, so I'm really excited about that. That's being edited. It'll be out in about 2 weeks. I just interviewed a candidate for governor of California. This dude, I didn't know that this was possible. Like, imagine me in like 10, 15 years running for the governor of California. That's what this dude's views are. Did you see the mummies in person? I did, Flowers. I went to Mexico City and I saw them in person. And I saw the Buddha sphere and I held it. And it's my intuition about those, they're not mummies, they're just bodies. They're just old, so they look like mummies. They're desiccating and dehydrating because they're about 1,700 years old. Purple Brad, you got to watch my special. It's called The Skeptic Smashing. Drink of water here. Hold on. It's water. I know it looks like vodka. It's not. It's called The Skeptic Smashing Truth About Antarctica. It is a phenomenal deep dive into Antarctica, and I cover the bases, the history that goes back to World War II, the Germans, the the Draco, the reptilians, the Nordics, the Antarctica is like, it's like our little moon base. There's Antarctica, and then there's the moon. But that's a great special for you guys to watch. If you guys want to support my work, I also have a Patreon page. I'm gonna be going live from this account for the next 346 days. I look like Willie Nelson's water tank. I don't know, man. I just got this stuff. It's called Holstein. It looked good. I'm I don't know. I don't drink a lot of wine. I drink a lot of water, so I spend my money on really good water. I figured it's the most important thing we can put in our bodies. So, and glass too, because the plastic's a problem. But listen, God bless you guys. I think I've seen it. The sky glass is interesting. Check it out. Check it out. Make sure that you guys are subscribed to my YouTube channel, you guys on Instagram, and make sure my YouTubers are subscribed to my IG channels, and check out my latest podcast. And please know that I love you, and I love spending this time with you, and I'm grateful for you listening to me, and I'm wishing you guys all a wonderful, wonderful weekend with your families, whatever you do, and I'm sending you guys blessings, and thank you so much for your time, and much love to all you guys. Okay, thank you so much.